Looks like a chocolate Frosty from Wendy's. You know, because again, I used that chocolate protein powder I got. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That that turned out a lot better texture wise than the last ice cream I made. It was fine, but it was kind of icy still. You know, it's great for a hot summer day. You let it set out, you're outside doing something, come back in, you want some ice cream. It was good, but it still had that sort of icy, crystally texture. This this does not. Mm. Yeah, that is really good. I would say you need to try this. I was going to say 10 out of a 10, but I'm not some fancy food critic and I'm sure this could be done way better. So, give this a try though. Get some arrowroot powder. Again, all of the ingredients I used for this were cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, uh, arrowroot powder, a little bit of salt, and then my protein powder for flavor. You could obviously replace the protein powder with whatever sweetener you want to use. You could put in fruit, nuts, whatever. But this was well worth it. Um, for the arrowroot powder, I got like a 5 pound bag of it off of Amazon for like $18. So, and I only used 1 tablespoon. So that arrowroot powder is going to last you a while. And you can use the arrowroot powder to thicken up other stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, I also used it to make some of my own homemade deodorant. And even for that, I didn't use that much. Really, the most expensive thing will be probably the heavy whipping cream, depending on how much you buy and what it costs for you. But I only used 1.5 cups, so that's just slightly under half. Yeah, that's just slightly under. That's a little bit under half a quart. So like $2. So $2 of that, maybe $1.50 of cream cheese, and let's add on, I don't know, 50 cents, right, for the other ingredients, for the arrowroot, for the protein powder. Well, maybe $1's worth of protein powder. I don't know. I'd have to calculate that later. But overall, let's round it up even to $5. Somewhere between $5 or $6, right? And that basically almost filled up completely this container. And this is a pint. So for about 3 pints of ice cream, that cost you somewhere between $5 or $6. Again, depending on how much your heavy whipping cream costs and some of that other stuff. But for me, I think that was well worth the effort of making it with the amount that I got back from it. Like the amount that I made easily it's easily just like more cost efficient money wise. Time wise, on how long it took me to make it, because it was my first time, and I'm like trying to record and get things set up because I didn't necessarily have everything set up ahead of time. It took me like half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. But then again, I know what's going into the ice cream. I can customize it to how I want. So, make it. Give it a try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to try again for making a relatively low carb ice cream, but this time using Arrowroot Powder. I bought it. It can be used as a sort of replacement for cornstarch or whatnot, but also I bought some of it to make my own homemade deodorant, but that'll be for another time. So first off, what I want to do with this recipe is take 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, and then I want to combine with that, I forgot to get my whisker out. I want to combine with that 1 tablespoon of the arrowroot powder. So let me wipe this off here. Put this on before I knock it over. There we go. That's about a tablespoon. Oh, and the other ingredients you'll need are a whole 8 ounces of cream cheese, pinch of salt, vanilla extract, and about 100 grams of your sweetener of choice. But since I'm going to be using some good old chocolate protein powder, I'm not going to worry about the vanilla. Well, it's going to be the replacement of my vanilla and sweetener. So, what you want to do is mix this together, the arrowroot and the heavy whipping cream, into kind of like a slurry. Make sure you get all the bumps out. Get out, not the bumps, the lumps. Get all the lumps out. And I would say it's doing a better job than I thought of combining. I honestly thought it would be a little more lumpy. See, look at that. It almost looks like a batter, like pancake batter. All right, I'm gonna cut right here. I'll be right back because I gotta get the next part set up. All right, we're back. I got my cream cheese ready. It's at room temp. I cut it up into pieces before putting it here in my processor. What I'm gonna do is, while it's going, back again. So now what we want to do is taking our cream cheese mixture. You want to heat it up on low medium heat in a small saucepan, pot, whatever you got. You just want to be mixing that around. And then what we'll do is we'll get this Arrowroot heavy whipping cream mixture. We'll get that put in here to help thicken this up. Excuse me, to help thicken this up. So I'm just going to keep constantly stirring this for a bit. Okay, I'm gonna get this in there because it seems good enough to let it go. I'm trying to get all of this scraped off as much as possible. The arrowroot is supposed to help thicken it up. But still keep it somewhat ice cream-like. So we'll see how this goes. When I last made ice cream, I did not have arrowroot powder. And I wanted to give this a try to see how it would do. Plus, I think the last time, I don't remember if I used egg or not. It might have just been cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, and then my protein powder. I don't remember. There's just a little more I want to get in there. As you can see, it's quite liquidy. Really easy to stir and manipulate, so. And from what Gemini was telling me, the heat helps activate the arrowroot. You know, this is my first time ever working with arrowroot, so we'll just see what happens. But after we've let this mixed in, which I think I've done a good enough job, we're going to turn that off. And I'm going to take it off of there for now, let it cool down, and I'll be back for the rest of it. I need to get set up. So now for this part, what you want to do is, in total you want 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream for this whole recipe. A little bit of that 1.5 cup you want to mix with the arrowroot like we did earlier. And then the remainder you want to put in a chilled bowl. And you want to whip it up to about soft medium peaks. There, we'll call that good. All right, time to whip it up. Turn it up a little more. Bringing it back. As you can see here, somewhat, I guess those are a little more medium, maybe soft peaks. So now what we want to do, without me making too much noise, is we want to get the cream cheese mixture that we made. We want to incorporate that into here. And you just want to, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to capture this. I'm going to try my best. You want to apparently just gently fold in the cream cheese. I don't know if I should just put it all in at once. We'll do this for now. I still got some more here. Okay. Pretty much got that thing scraped clean. This is where I need to practice mixing with my left hand because well, I guess I can just switch this around. Now you're thinking one. There we go. All right. Yeah, I think that looks pretty dang good.